Christina blithely explains to her father that she has invited her friends to stay at the mansion. She confidently presents the blood-stained document, certain it's their key to victory. Her father recognizes the handwriting, his face paling with dread. He finally snaps, roaring, "Why have you brought this here?" The mention of the Nightblade's scrutiny makes Christina recoil in surprise. Her father descends into a full-blown panic, positive they'll be framed for hiring the killer clown. He wails that they will all end up swimming with the fishes. Poor Christina, blessed with righteous fury, but cursed with the tactical awareness of a turnip. She passionately argues for justice for the victims, but her father cuts her off, bellowing, "Who the heck cares about those plebeians?" He clutches his head, openly wondering how his daughter could be so monumentally stupid. He snatches the document from her, determined to clean up her mess. He delivers a final, desperate order for her to stop helping. Left alone, Christina stews, realizing her father is utterly paralyzed by fear. She briefly wallows in self-pity, admitting, "He's right, I really am stupid." Her gaze falls back to the document, her mind racing to decipher Jack the Ripper's true intent. She imagines the killer wants her to be a champion of justice, exposing the kingdom's parasites. A far more thrilling and violent possibility begins to bloom in her mind. It's amazing how quickly one can pivot from justice to bloodlust when given the slightest encouragement. A wicked, knowing smirk spreads across her face. She stalks away from the window, filled with a dark and terrible purpose. Outside, the very clown whose motives she has so spectacularly misinterpreted watches her go. At dinner, Cid Kagenoh internally reviews his personal, highly theatrical code of conduct. He muses on his self-imposed rule against killing the poor and pathetic. Conversely, he reflects on how totally cool it is to massacre obvious evildoers. The world's most powerful teenager, currently role-playing as a background character, had a surprisingly robust moral framework for his imaginary war games. The ever-practical Kanade shoves a plate of raw fish at him, demanding he test it for poison first. Cid dutifully eats the sushi, deciding that her pathetic attempt on his life warrants mercy. Christina watches the exchange with a serene, duplicitous smile. She proudly announces the dish is a rare delicacy from the absurdly expensive Mitsugoshi restaurant. The magic words "freshest" and "most expensive" flip a switch in Kanade's brain. She violently snatches the sushi back, shouting, "Gimme, gimme, Cid-kun!" Christina lays out the new security protocol. They will all be escorted home from school together. Kanade is ecstatic at the prospect of free, high-end coffee. The Eminence in shadow gives an award-winning performance as a terrified, trembling Wimp. Christina pours on the false sympathy, knowing her guests are too scared to eat. She helpfully reminds them that they are all now targets of a serial killer. She concludes that being her prisoners is, ironically, for their own safety. With a brilliant smile, she promises them the full, suffocating protection of House Hope. Christina leads her new wards on a tour through a hall of obscene wealth. Kanade begins mentally appraising a 17 million zeni painting. Her eyes bulge at a chandelier worth a cool 54 million. She notes a statue valued at a respectable 9 million. Cid observes Kanade, a girl whose primary skill seems to be appraising potential loot. Christina points out a national treasure, a vase that could fetch 200 mil? Cid quietly files away the vase's value for future reference. For a boy pretending to be a broke background character, Cid Kagenoh had a remarkably keen interest in the resale value of stolen art. They arrive at a bedroom so lavish it could house royalty. Kanade squeals with delight, while Cid dryly questions the "we" in their new sleeping arrangement. Kanade cheerfully threatens to beat Cid senseless if he tries anything funny. She then proudly declares, "I'm 100 times stronger than he is," as Cid looks on with profound boredom. She cannonballs onto the bed, absolutely thrilled about their new school trip. Cid notes his bed is in the prime die-first position, next to the window. He points out its tactical advantage as an escape route, a thought that had clearly not occurred to the noble lady. His casual, practical observation gives Christina a jolt of familiarity. She looks at him intently, asking, "Have we met before?" She struggles to place the strange feeling that she knows this utterly unremarkable boy. Flustered by his blank stare, she awkwardly drops the subject. Moments later, Kanade is snoring loudly, leaving Cid to contemplate his increasingly annoying situation. In a grimy cellar, two pillars of the criminal underworld hold a meeting. The eye-patch-wearing Count Kuzaya speculates on the identity of the mysterious killer clown. He names his primary suspect, the hopelessly outmatched House Hope. His scarred subordinate, Baron Graham, whines about the new difficulties of their trade. Kuzaya reminds him of the power vacuum left after Fenrir's recent destruction. Graham waxes nostalgic about the good old days of easy crime. They both lament the new need for caution, lest they attract the attention of Shadow Garden. It was a true tragedy. Villains could no longer villain with the same reckless abandon they once enjoyed. Graham changes the subject, leering about the catch, Lady Christina. He erupts into a chilling, sycophantic laugh. Gee-hee-hee-hee! His boss's eye twitches with pure, unadulterated irritation. Kuzaya draws his blade, screaming, "Shut the fuck up, goddammit!" Gretham falls silent, utterly confused as the laughter continues from elsewhere. He points to himself, completely bewildered. Both men freeze, demanding to know, who's laughing? Kuzaya frantically draws his sword, ready for a fight. He bellows into the darkness, "Come out, you bastard!" Suddenly, Gretham points at his boss in terror, stammering about blood. Kuzaya looks down to see blood inexplicably dripping from his own shoulder. The blood-splattered clown descends from the ceiling like a nightmarish marionette. Gretham shrieks in recognition. That's him, the killer clown! Kuzaya, a man of action, charges the painted smile head-on. He triumphantly plunges a knife straight into the clown's face. The clown collapses, and Gretham celebrates the kill far too early. The clown gets back up, forcing a stunned Kuzaya to raise his guard. He unleashes a furious flurry of slashes, utterly convinced of his own superiority. The clown stands motionless, riddled with cuts, but unnervingly intact. Gretham kicks the corpse, gloating, "Dead as a doorknob, all right." He moves in to unmask their foe and claim his unearned victory. Kuzaya stares, dumbfounded, as his subordinate stands perfectly fine behind him. He asks the impossible question, "How are you still okay?" He then spots the playing card lodged neatly in the back of Graham's head. Graham touches his own forehead, feeling the sudden, warm rush of blood. He wobbles, complaining that he doesn't feel so good. The Baron drops dead in a delayed and deeply anticlimactic fashion. Poor Baron Graham, so eager to unmask the clown, he failed to notice he'd been dead for the last 30 seconds. Kuzaya is left standing over the body of his idiotic underling. He turns in sheer terror to face the real, very much alive clown. The clown advances, and Kuzaya screams, "How are you still alive?" He scrambles away, desperately trying to bribe the silent killer with money. He shouts that he'll double whatever the clown was paid. He stops his pathetic retreat, a foolish plan forming in his mind. He smirks, believing he can outsmart this monster. He lunges with a final desperate cry, "I got you where I want you!" The clown catches his blade with one hand, effortlessly shattering his confidence. Kuzaya can only manage a pathetic, defeated "Oomph." A playing card slices cleanly through his throat, and he gasps his last words. "You monster!" His body falls limp to the cobblestones. The clown smiles, its work nearly done. It calmly drags the 2 fresh corpses out of the cellar. The next morning, the town square is bright and bustling with activity. A single determined footstep marks the arrival of a key player. Christina pushes through the gathering crowd with theatrical urgency. She arrives just in time to hear the horrified gasps of the townsfolk. The bodies of the 2 nobles are hanging grotesquely from the public fountain. Baron Graham is displayed for all to see, with a playing card in his head. Count Kuzaya is presented with a playing card shoved rudely in his neck. Christina listens intently as the crowd correctly blames the killer clown for the public spectacle. She covers her mouth, putting on a convincing show of nausea and terror for the onlookers. But beneath her delicate hands, a monstrously wide and satisfied grin is hidden from view. A centipede crawls away, a fitting symbol for the successful extermination of parasites.